Okay, I'd like to say a few words now about applications. Certainly we all love applications. Most of the students in this course are engineering students, and certainly engineering students are interested in applications. Well, this comes into a math class. Very often we get students who ask questions like, what are the applications of the following math ideas? Or sometimes more bluntly, why do I need to know this math? So here's the kind of structure students might be familiar with, and that is that students learn a little bit of math, might not really enjoy the math because it's not clear why we need to know this, and then very quickly they get to a little application, and the students like the application, and then hopefully the students will see after seeing that application that, hey, this math idea was actually pretty cool because now I see the application. Okay, and then another math topic comes up, and well, the pattern repeats. Not a fan. We enjoy the application, and then we realize, hey, maybe that math was good as well. Well, in a linear algebra class, there are enormous applications. It's just that it takes a while to get to those applications. We have to develop a lot of linear algebra first, have a lot of tools at our disposal so that we can do all of the things that we need to do in those applications that we will see in this course. So here's a representation of what Math216 is going to be about. So we're going to do an enormous amount of math first, just math. Now, wouldn't be too surprising. I hope it doesn't turn out this way, but students might find this unsatisfying, wondering the whole way along, why do I need to know this? What is this good for? Where are the applications? Only to get to, eventually, these enormous applications that we'll see. And let me interject. I mean, we're going to see big applications of linear algebra in this course, but there are many other applications of linear algebra that you will encounter in many other courses. So we're going to do just some applications here. Primarily, this is a course in linear algebra, so that'll be our focus. So, fantastic applications, and students will immediately see why that's all useful. Well, so very often then students will then realize, okay, well, I see why this part of the math was useful. And if you think about it, though, that math depended on this math. So ultimately, this math was one of the tools that was applied in that application as well, because that built up to that was one of the things that the application was resting on, and then vice versa. That depended on this math, etc. And then finally back to the beginning, and we see that really all of the math that we had done here was applicable. It just took us a while to get to that application. So those applications will be there, and I want to encourage students to don't wait until you see the applications before you invest yourself in this in the math. In other words, don't do like I drew here and be uninterested only to see the applications and then subsequently in reverse, in effect, get interested in the math that we had covered. I think it's a good idea to buy in advance to the idea that this is going to be applied and applicable. This is a well-established fact. Math is applicable and useful in many, many different areas. So go ahead and buy into that. I think this is an important point, if only for the fact that then as you go through the math, as you go through this area, that you're open-minded to that this is something you should understand, and you'll be inquisitive and curious and interested, right? That's an important part of the learning process. If you realize at the time that this is something that is interesting and meaningful, then your brain will be naturally more oriented toward understanding it. So Much better to go into this with a positive point of view instead of waiting to be persuaded after the fact. Unfortunately, the persuasion does have to come after the fact. So I encourage students to, like I say, buy in to this in advance.